Alright folks, welcome to this wet and windy hilltop in Scotland here, where we've come to document a special piece of World War II history, and even history which led on after World War II. This is an old radio station which is located near Dunnottar Castle, and I do believe it's from the World War II period, but also they apparently picked up the distress signal from the Piper Alpha disaster from this site. And when we noticed it here on the hilltop, we could not believe what we were seeing. And like, yeah, we're gonna have a look, because this is the sort of thing we love, folks. A World War II radio station, they call it. And wow, this is like fully open, and I want to take it in, because look, this could have been the booth where they were doing the actual radio show from. Crazy scenes right here, folks. We never come into places like this if they're not open, or like, you never force your way into places like this. We literally just want to come and document the history. And look at this, for instance. There's loads of little pigeonholes on the wall here which they would have had notes or whatever in, or different things to do with it. Look, VHF I mean, which is the very high frequency. They were listening to different frequencies and different signals they were intercepting, because they had a massive mast, and this must have been the main control room here, folks. And who would have known it this week we were going to be in a World War II control room, like, for a radio station? It's crazy. When they say radio station, I think they were intercepting radio signals constantly and then deciphering important things from that. But I'm going to clean the lens before we continue this video, because I can see there's a mark on it, folks. Look at this here, folks. This was probably glass windows, I'm guessing, and look at the old door handle. That's like some crazy World War II door handles and stuff, and windows, and that's the way they must have built stuff with the wooden paneling. It's like there's been a shelf here, and all this glass must have come from the windows. But there's been windows right around the top. It's like they've had a lot of light in this particular area. I'm not sure, maybe potentially they had like some sort of map board here, and then they'd maybe be plotting if they were intercepting like radio signals and stuff. Look at this, it's almost like a little room here in the corner. It's got the original blue paint on the walls. Wow, it looks like they've used it up. Probably, like you can see from the paneling, it's been maybe into the 80s and the 90s this has been open. Like, obviously if they intercepted the Piper Alpha, which was a oil rig disaster out in the North Sea, and I believe, like, apparently we read online a little bit when we noticed this place, and it was saying that intercepted signals from that incident, but also this was active in World War II. And it's interesting to think how long this was operational. To find it abandoned, we've been so lucky. Look at the size of this fire alarm box. That is a piece of kit, folks. Oh, it's BT Telecom. So it must have been directly, like, for the phoning the fire station if anything had happened. And then look how long this corridor is. Wow. It's crazy to come into the heart of these abandoned wonders, folks, and like, it blows me away how much is around to find. If you just go out on adventures sometimes, you notice so much. And I love the way they've had like a dark, almost mahogany there, and you can see it with the varnish. It still looks new in places. And there's been little curtains around the top, because that's what's blowing with the wind. It's little blinds. But we'll head on along this room, along this corridor. Oh, see under here, look, there's been electrical conduits. Here's the main electrical control panel, folks. Wow, check the size of some of that. That's big fuse links. HRC fuse link. 100 SD5 it says on it. Oh look, processor room feed. Crazy history, folks. You never normally see those fuses still in the holders. Wow, I'm going to get a photograph of this. Look how it's had the gloss paint on the wall as well. It just looks so epic. And then this door also goes round into the control room. But there is still remains as well, which is cool, of like a curtain which must have been here. Like internal walls there have been taken out. See, they might have been developing this at a certain time, or maybe even still. Look at this, folks. Oh, there's been like fans and stuff and mesh. Look at the size of these air intakes here, folks. Ventilation systems. Yeah, and these have all been connected, like these side rooms. That's almost been like a radiator that's been on the wall in there. But look, it's got the brown gloss paint in here, which is unusual. Yeah, I'm taking it all in. This has been, it's like somebody has been kind of redeveloping it to a point. There's like a hoover and stuff through there. Maybe continuously. Look at this, there's been bathrooms in here. World War II, Cold War bathrooms. Oh, that must have been the main entrance. Oh, look at this above our heads. This is cool. A scene like that, folks, is just epic. When you get that abandoned history with the different little architectural nuggets, like that roof, and like even the way this mesh is on these windows. Again, it's been a real like fortified area back in the day. Just think what may have been on these old shelves at one time, related to wartime history. And look, it's almost like this has been an exterior wall at one time, and then it's been updated and renovated, maybe after the war. And look out here, folks, this is crazy, this whole history. The old metal railings and stuff, it's like crazy scenes. There's that hoover that I was seeing. Channel of the Ages just found an engine, folks. I've got this torch though, and it's enough in these little rooms just to see. What's this been here? There's a mark on the wall. Has it been a door? There's pipes and stuff coming out. They've all got this mesh though. It's been super kind of like secretive back in the day. Here, look, skyline, space occupancy survey, RM. I don't know if that's somebody that's been like scanning the building here at one time or something. Yeah, these cool roofs are all the way down here, lighting up this crazy corridor. Wow, look at this door here, folks. Yeah. This is incredible. Check this door. It's a metal door. Look at that, April 1970. Don't know how well that comes out on the calendar, folks. It's like a fire protection door. And it's got the craziest rollers. This is have you been up here for a look?
Yeah, but
this is crazy, folks. Wow, what is this? Oh, there's been people. This must be somebody who that's maybe using this. It's like a bit of a shed. Oh, look. Power room, folks. Check this out. Wow. This is crazy, folks. Similar to what we found when we were at Blairgowrie Mills and stuff. There's a massive engine here, folks. And this must have been powering. Look at this, there's toolboards and stuff. This is the generator shed, folks, and this must have been powering the mast and stuff here if the power had gone off. Look at it here, it looks like a 6-cylinder diesel engine. Look at this, folks, an inline fuel pump, you call that.
Look at the weight of it.
Yeah.
20th.
What's it made of?
Brush.
Brush code. Electric construction, it says. There's no numbers, really easy to see.
That is.
Look at this. Negrete Zambra. This is the interesting stuff, folks. Look, it's a Smith's gauge. Water out, oil outlet. This is crazy, folks. This is it's Smiths that make the gauges back in the day, even on like the Fordson Power Major that we had. Look, entirely British made, it says. W.H. Dorman and Co Limited, Stafford, England. The engine type is a 6L CT. That is incredible, folks. Hear these noises that we're hearing. This is only a small bit of this engine though, folks. Look, a triple fuel filter. Oh, wait a minute. This is the oil filter here. It's a triple oil filter, folks, because look, it's returning back into the sump. And then this is the fuel filters up here. This is insane. Look at the big fan housing. That's a cast top fan piece here. And then that must be like the fuel tank with old gauges and the water. Wow, I love finding old engines, folks. It's like a massive structure. Ah, these old generators, folks. Manufactured by Electric Construction. Wooten Limited, Wolverhampton, England. So Electric Construction's the company, like, yeah, but DC generator, revs per minute 1000, the rating 139 volts, the rating says CRPO, I don't know what that is, constant revs per hour it could be. Yeah, crazy things, folks. Crazy history. Yeah, that's some new system up there, eh? That's how I was saying, it looks like somebody's using the cigars. And if this is your area, folks, and you recognise it on the video, we'll come with the greatest respects. We saw it through the road, and it's completely abandoned to our knowledge, but mains voltage. See, we're just out watching here. It's cool just to take this in with the engine. The history here, folks, and then we're on our way. You can hear the wind. Oh, look at this. It's like a massive version of the ROC hand pumps that we saw, folks. This is like a Cold War hand pump. I wonder if it was for priming. Maybe there's underground tanks or something and they were priming up the fuel. Yeah, there's the start button for the generator too. It should probably fire straight up. And look at this here. It's almost like a turbo. Emergency lighting and stuff, it says, look.
It's all cockpit.
Yeah, big contacts. And look at the exhaust leading out there. And those big inlets, eh? It's crazy, man. Look, space conditioning. Division of Supervents Limited. Sidcup, Kent. That is a crazy scene, folks. So that's been epic. Here, we'll try and get a photograph of this engine. Yeah, so that engine was cool to see, folks. It's hard to get a photograph of it when the lighting's so poor. But yeah, it's epic just to explore these old historical locations. Imagine the World War II history which went on. Let's take a look up here, folks, before we lead off out of here. The crazy thing, I'm holding the camera and the light. There's a lot of wind blowing up here. Here we are, folks, Realist of Adventures. This is like the water tanks and stuff. Oh, there's a wee fan. Yeah, wow. Dunottar Castle and stuff's over there, folks. That looks like a current building.
Check the one.
Whereabouts? Oh, it's got old newspaper on it. Wow, folks, there's actually a newspaper on the face of this lintel, which is a crazy thing to see. For back in the day, I can't see a date.
I've seen one over here.
And what is the date?
Wednesday, 7th of April, 1965.
1965, folks. This lintel was likely to have been put in here. That's the kind of history that we'll have to find. Look, there's old newspapers here. Old newspapers, folks, which is hidden within the history. Wow, I love these locations, folks, and exploring the history within them and documenting it. Because it's all stuff from a time gone by that will get lost. The more years that go past, and stuff like this gets redeveloped or even changed. It's crazy, folks. Sorry about the camera angle on this one. It's the real climb down. I'm just keeping the viewer along on the adventure with us. And this must have been one of the entrances into the building. That's big mesh pieces off some of the windows. Wow, folks, it's been such an adventure coming in here. And like when we saw it, we were just going along the road and we pulled up at the lay-by and looked to our left and we could see this. And Channel DJ like googled it to see what it would be. And we just realised it was like a World War II site, a radio site, which has got so much history within it. And here we are in the middle of it, exploring it, and it's something we could never have like dreamed of. But what I do believe is this was the original outside wall, again with that on it. But it's had all these strange rooms. Look, this is like an operations room or something. For back in the day. It's like it's been quite a main hub of the room, like of the building. What's that up there? It's like all different switches, maybe thermostats. Yeah, this is insane. There would have maybe been a lot of like processors, computer processors and stuff down by the end of it. And a lot of that stuff was pretty big in the 1980s. Oh, there's a lot of wind just blowing through. Like a lot of abandoned places, the windows get broken and stuff gets destroyed. And it's cool to document that here on this video and this channel before it's gone forever. Yeah, it's like old curtains here, or filters. Crazy scenes here, folks. And that's how I think somebody's been redeveloping this at a certain time. Again, even like years ago now, I think. It must have just been other like office spaces almost, or like rooms. Yeah. Oh, because look, it's been acro-propped. The original frame has been taken out, or it's maybe been rotten. And they've maybe come in here and made this structure safe to a certain degree. But this must have all been original little separate buildings. Like separate rooms, I mean. Yeah, who knows, these like could have been separate rooms originally. It's hard to tell with the frame. I've never been to an actual radio station or like World War II raid, like apart from like the chain home radar sites, we've never been to anything else. So it's like all new and it's incredible to find this. And look, this is a separate door to what we came through originally. It's almost like a side corridor. And look, the cool thing, the original carpet is still here. Or maybe not the original carpet, but the carpet from kind of when it was in use. Here, look at this bits here. They've had a little system where they could slide stuff down through a little chute, and then the person at that side would slide it back through. And that's little details I love to find. It's been something there. Look at these old brass. Maybe potentially like fire extinguisher brackets or something. But the architecture is strange, the way it leans out here. It's like an old control tower that you would see at like an airfield or something. But there is evidence in this field here in front of the building that there's been a big mast there. So it's been super cool. That must have been the main mast that they were using to intercept the signals. And you can see remains here. There's been big radiators originally round the outside edge. And the blinds have been here, but you can see them. There's been a few different types, I think, over the years. It's almost like some mad 1960s or 70s architecture. Again, this is like the control room in Star Trek. Whoa, a little bird's just flown in here and gone right around. It came in the window, went round and went out again. Yeah, there's been something else hooked on here. I'm guessing it was fire extinguishers. This must have been what a lot of the internal walls looked like here originally.
The same system there.
Oh, aye, look, there is another slot system here, where I'm guessing some sort of card was passed through. So I'm not sure if there was some sort of system. Look, there's actually a plug at this side, so it must have been somebody's little office. But there's also controls here hanging down for the blinds, and this cool like little short blinds that go right around the top. Look, there's an old bell in the corner up there. See, there's been something mounted up there on the wall.
Yeah.
There's like a big T-piece.
TV or something.
And what's this here, folks? Look, is it a vent into the outside world? That's what it is. Insane. You can see how good the paint must have looked at one time. Oh, there's been a key box here and somebody's proper like busted it open. Maybe originally when they got in here the doors was locked and they had to do that to even get through. And so many years pass that stuff like this always gets busted and broken.
Stress, urgency.
Oh wow. Oh aye, look. Irish box.
Yeah, Irish.
Distress, urgency. Look, a lot of it here says Irish and stuff like that. Look, GKR log.
Collective call signs.
QTC, look, this is crazy. BR, look, this is interesting seeing some of these because this could be some sort of thing they were intercepting. But I do know that UHF, I keep saying UHF is like the radio frequency, very high frequency. Look, retain on station. Is that a VHF as well? Yeah, VHF on that one too.
FM, other stations. Palmer.
Look, collective call signs, folks. That's the sort of history we love to see. Oh, look, Stuart Watt. Palmer. That is history of this building that we're looking at today, folks. And maybe those people were folk that was working here and they all had a pigeonhole at the bottom. Look at that sub somebody's written. That must be somebody wanting everyone to subscribe to the channel. I don't know what this one is here. GNDWX Gale. But yeah, crazy history, folks. From a time gone by, almost lost. And if that gets knocked down or broken, you'll never see that sort of stuff.
Almost like there's been an iron there, eh?
Yeah, that could be right enough, eh? There has been. It's maybe been pulled out.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff gets destroyed over the years, folks, with the amount of time that passes. And see, there's a little bell up there in the corner, maybe a phone kind of bell. And I think that's been the same as the one at that side. And it's had these tube lights. But I was wondering if it's had some sort of map here. Kind of how they're often plotting on a big map saying this is where such and such is. See, another thing, I can see that there's metal pipes up there. Kind of like aircon or whatever it must be. Above the level of the roof. Anyway, we'll go around in this adventure, folks, and see what else is on this site. Look at this, folks. This whole site looks crazy. And this is what we were seeing when we parked up down at the road. We looked round and it was like, what even is that? And like, wow. The architecture is crazy with a building like this. This is abandoned exploration at its finest, folks. And like, wow, the character of the decay and everything, it's just epic. Oh, there was like a bird or something flapping about inside there. Probably one of those pigeons. Yeah, this must have been some sort of lights which were around here at a certain time. That's that room we were in when the fan was on the back wall, and it must have been the air conditioning system that was here. Yeah, that building there looks like a current, like, used building. Oh, aye. Maybe even underground, like, electronics or something. Yeah, wow, check this out. That's where we were looking at up there. This is cool, eh? It's had like that render over the red brick. But I think, like, this is how that internal wall, remember, looked. So I wonder if there's been bits to join the buildings up. Look at these unusual holes in the wall here. See, it's got like metal lock lids. Check this out, folks. Oh, that's maybe like a lock box or something. Because look, there's a pipe going in with a big brass fitting. What was it you moved? Oh.
Big and furry under there, like.
Really, it's probably a rat. Look at this is what you call the old like bitumen coating. It was on a lot of the old structures around the World War II time period, and you can see it here. It must have been ripped off the roof. Look, it's metal gutters right the way around. A lot of the old buildings we visit are too far gone to even see that. Whoa, what has this even been? It's like some sort of float mechanism. Look at this, folks. There's like some sort of weight mechanism here hanging on this, going through a bush, going to that wire. So there must have been something that connected onto that and then lifted up, and then it must have gradually gone down. Look at that, that must be the air conditioning intake. Ken, where that generator is that we saw, there was the big intake on the wall beside that. And that's what this is. And look at the exhaust going out over the roof. Ken, they would have had it with a lot of silencers like that, so it was quieter. And look, they've had CCTV, probably like developed early. You would have had the latest of technology at a site like this. A crucial British. Yeah, here we go, folks. Look at that. Wow. 1956 with a coat of arms, like the crown there of the monarch, which is such a cool thing to see. So there you go, folks. That shows this may have been extended in the Cold War period, and maybe this is when that was put in, because I do believe this was operational in World War II. Ken, it wasn't just 1956 it was first installed. Not unless there was a radio station here and then all this was put in to add on to it. But for sure anyway, this wall here, 1956, and we can put a date onto those extensions that we've seen. And look at the way this is, it's all tarred. This is like some sort of yard they must have had round the back. Maybe their trucks or cars parked. And then there's been massive like drainage systems. But I love the way those vents look on the side of that wall when they come out. It's a crazy scene, folks. And then that would have been maybe one of the main doors. But you can see the control room on the end where we first entered. It's got such a character, the way it's shaped, with the little windows up on the roof. And that little fan's just spinning with the wind flowing through it. But that has been crazy there, folks. We're going to go and have a look at this last kind of corner building. We'll just have a walk around it. If buildings are not open like that, we never force our way in. It's cool just seeing what was there from a time gone by. The building down at the corner looks like an even newer addition to this site, so again, we are more interested in the old, like, World War II kind of history, which is hidden. Like that generator engine, such a special thing to find. Yeah, the lighting wasn't very good, but we had no idea we were about to see incredible abandoned wonders like that, folks. It was just spontaneous. Yeah, somebody's had this, I think, like as sheds and stuff, but a lot of the time people would be hanging about the local area, coming in and breaking things. Youths often hang about in places like this at the weekends. Look, they've had barbed wire right around the top of that to stop anybody climbing in. And it's been lit up with these lights at a certain time as well. It must have not been such a secretive location later on in time, probably nearer the end of the Cold War and stuff. But wow, like I've never like been to a radio station like that, folks, and just look at the character of it from this angle. It's a massive kind of building really, and you can just imagine it when the mast was there at the far side of that. I'm thinking the original fence must have been at the outline of there, because I would have thought the mast would have had some sort of fence around it originally. I just love this, a scene like that, folks, with a bit of abandoned decay, which has the story of a bit of history in the middle of it. And then this definitely looks like a newer built building. The window is open, but it's strange the way it's got like wheelchair access and stuff. It's almost like, looks like a health centre, but I don't think that's what it's been. What has it been in here, folks? Check this out. Oh, it's been totally trashed. It's definitely a newer building though. Look at the roof and stuff, it still looks mint. Crazy scenes right there, folks. We'll take a walk right around the perimeter of this. We'll take in the architecture of the abandoned wonder here. Oh look, I can see remains of more masts here. So that shows you, folks, that's 2 masts I've seen now. You can see the black dot in the field. We can't really go into that field because there's actually cows and stuff in there. What? It's almost been similar masts to what we saw at the Chain Home radar site. And even though it's called a radio station on the article we looked up online, it's maybe been literally like a radar station. There is cameras and stuff around this whole building, but literally we're just taking in the history and we're on our way. Yeah, this is what I was saying, there's been masts like all the way around. Wow, they're all the way around there as well. They're all the way around the front too. That's crazy, folks. There's so many aerials at this site around here. Like, these buildings have just been in the middle of all that at one time, and then at a later time they must have just taken that away. No way, what has this building been like? There's proper like key and stuff in the lock of that on the wall. It's no worth going in though. Look, there's a umbrella and stuff sitting there. But yeah, it's these old buildings, folks, we were interested in. To the owner of this place and that, we've come with the greatest respects. And we're just documenting the history and we're on our way. And it's been so cool to see it. And now we know there's been masts and stuff all the way around it. It's like you get a true aspect of how the site would look in its prime. It's amazing they don't have like a big substation. I suppose they had that generator. They must have been bringing the power in. Maybe the substation's over in that wee shed. There's a little wooden shed over in the field, folks, but because the cows are in there, we can't go and see it. Literally, there's like air vents and stuff on the little wooden shed, so I think there must be something in there related to this site, related to the masts and stuff even. But that could be a substation in that shed. There must still be some current like things going on here because they've got all this BP like solar, it says on it. But wow, it's been crazy to bring this history to the viewers. Another bit of history documented that we didn't even know about a week ago, and it's like the variation of history from different time periods. It always blows me away, but it's so cool to come and record it and see what's left. And it's just like learning a bit more, like there's so much around. And I can see there's a monument on the hill over there, and that's Stonehaven just at the far side of there. And further over this side we've got Dunnottar Castle, a famous Scottish castle that a lot of tourists come to. But to me, a building like this is even cooler than Dunnottar Castle. It's got a different abandoned character to it. Almost spooky and eerie. So just think, folks, this is how all buildings may end up looking if humanity just left Earth. This would be some crazy post-apocalyptic scene, and that's what I love about these adventures as well. We get to explore this and just take it all in. It's like some mad futuristic scene of the world almost, but actually it's a scene of history from the past. But it's cool that it's still here and we've been able to explore it, because stuff like that gets demolished and history's gone. It's so sad, but there's so many masts all the way around here, folks. It must have been like a main listening station of its time. Radar or radio station. Yeah, look there, you can switch on and off the lights in this place, folks. But I'm just saying to the channel DJ as well, there could be little defensive pillboxes around defending this area, because it's like we saw at the Chain Home radar, further down Scotland slightly, we saw that there was like anti-aircraft or searchlights around the radar site. Look at that, folks, that gives you an idea of how the mast base may have looked. Well, it did look, and then the mast must have been in the middle there, because the 4 mast bases there are far apart, and then they've just been continuously the whole way around here. There's been mast bases and massive chunks of cement. Here I can see there's like some sort of cement piece there, eh? Yeah, look, there's fence posts and stuff sticking up in this part. Look at this, folks, because the cows are at the other side of the field, we're going to risk it here before we end the video to have a look into this wee shed, because I believe this is part of the World War site, the World War II site right here, and I'm wanting to go into this room before the cows come over, document the history, folks. Oh, it's nailed on. What can we see, folks? There you go, a little bit of history. I believe that was connected with these aerials and stuff. Oh, there we go, this is just like a little entrance room. Because I think the old fence, yeah, there's vents on the wall. I believe the old fence around this place must be a lot further out than the modern one. Oh, hey, look. This has definitely been related to the site. Massive electronic controls. So I was wondering if it had been a substation or something. But yeah, it was cool to see inside. That's how I knew when I saw this on the outside. I thought this is not just some little shed. And it's been related to the site. And it's cool to see the paint and stuff that they used. And look, all that power supplies and stuff. It's crazy scenes, folks. But because there's cows in this field, we'll move on away from this site. See, there's been a wee fence around this building exclusively originally. I think there's some sort of air conditioning in this section. Oh, but look, even this wee room's got that, eh? It'll just be a vent. Oh, look, the original path's here.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Wow. Original path on this site, folks. Made of cement, probably laid World War II. Crazy history. I need to get a picture of this. Look at this, folks, the difference between this aerial mount at this side and then the one that we saw at the other side of here near the gate. The other one had like a metal hook here, kind of also as well as that. So I'm not sure if some of the masts were slightly different to the others, or maybe some of them were a later addition to the site. Or those ones could be even newer up there. But look, this looks in really good condition. It's almost had like a black coating on it, like a black paint. Which is crazy to see. Crazy history, folks. So there you go, folks, that's been a crazy adventure to visit this World War II listening station. It's like a radar radio station. It was a very powerful one of its time. It was operational all the way up into the 80s or the 90s. It's cool to see like the exhaust for the generator sticking out the roof and stuff like that. And just the architecture of the building, it was all there for a purpose, to operate their radio systems and kind of their listening devices of the era. And it's been so cool to explore it in this adventure, folks. But we're going to end it here. Goodbye for me, goodbye for the channel DJ. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you very soon in the next adventure.